Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today, and I hope you're having a good day. Gonna be diving back into the mines of Minecraft, but good to see a Bad Roxy, good to see a Brayherd, good to see a Gale, good to see a Mel. Hope everyone's having a good day. And congratulations, Bad Roxy, once again have claimed the crown of Firstendom 2 days in a row, if not 3. I forget who got it Monday. I guess yours is a crown of Arias as we work on the Opera House, but don't worry, it's not Ariana Grande's crown. It's just an Aria Grande crown. Yeah, that was bad. I'm just going to see myself out now. Anyway, I did do a bunch of resource gathering, so let's go ahead. Let's get on into it. I did a non-zero amount of shopping. I got 2 whole stacks of quartz. 2 whole stacks. Imagine that. So what I thought we'd do today was actually finish this staircase and the balcony on this side, and then we can start working on mirroring it over on the other. So... And I hope you don't get pulled over, Bad Roxy. That's no bueno. Please don't text and drive while watching my channel. Legal boilerplate. Okay, so we need to figure out a few things. First of all, actually, break all of that up. So we can get to all of this from here. So I think this hallway is going to be 4 wide, just like the one below it. But when we actually get out to here, what I was thinking is for where the railing's going to be, is we could turn it into quartz slabs. And then we can put the railing on this. So for now, I'm just going to extend this out with just the center 2 to meet up with the stairs. Which I think should be that block. I will be, again, replacing anything that's the diorite here is actually going to be the quartz in the end. But just because quartz is so expensive, I'd rather do construction first and then replace materials, rather than do some of this construction and then have to go, oh, I don't have enough to finish it. This actually works out perfectly, because then we can have the stairs here and turn it into a landing, and this is already going to be here. this one will be quartz. Okay. I like how that's coming together. And again, the copper's going to go all the way up. And a lot of this, along this corner part, it's going to be wall and windows. Perfect. So now we have the way to access the boxes. Now I'm wondering, should we have, because we're going to have a lot of open space. Well, I guess this is the way people are going, so I don't want to clutter this up. I was thinking about doing some sort of a water feature off the bottom to match this water feature, but I think that would be too much and would, again, kind of clutter up the throughways, because we're going to have carpet that leads to the front of this hallway. It won't go into the hallway, especially because it can't go on these half steps, but what? It's totally night already. Didn't you see the sun setting? Oh, I also made a bunch of glass. It's like we're making windows or something. Oh, actually, I can, while I'm down here. Where's all the copper? There's the copper and the wax. So we may as well complete the one staircase. And this should probably go all the way to the ceiling, which will be approximately 2 blocks higher than where that is. So it's actually already pretty close. Because these staircases are pretty close. I guess I should put... I guess if we want to be safe, let's have a railing there. All right, I like that. I think we're probably still going to do some more decorational pieces in the end. Something kind of akin to this on the landings. Just something to add a little more volume, but I like the general principle. I was about to place something, and then it's like, wait, I actually don't know how far from the wall I should place it. I know one set of coordinates. Okay, so 2 away from the wall is the central column. So the 3rd stair needs to be there. So that means the 2nd needs to be there. Oh, I just did something and I didn't even realize it, and I like it. The first landing on each set of stairs on the spirals and here in the middle is 3 blocks tall. They all perfectly terminate at that same height. That's quite fortuitous. I mean, I totally planned it that way. So Sister Kathy called you again this morning. Turns out she butt-dialed you. Oh, dear. Sister, you called me! No, Mel, Jesus is calling you. We are working it in the Opera House. We're currently building the 2nd of the spiral staircases. Right now, why is my zoom function not working all of a sudden? That's weird. My mod has a zoom function and it's not it's not zooming. Anyway, yeah, we're building another one of those on this side. Or at least part of it. But I like the balcony up there. It gives kind of another space. You can imagine kind of well-to-do socialites having a bit of a raucous party in here. As much as socialites have a raucous party. This should be the last one. Saw Father Evan's fairly suppressed sign of exasperation. Amazingly, that was not actually about that. It was actually, I think, about something I was going on in the build. But also, yeah, exasperated sigh at that joke. Okay, before I start adding all the quartz, it looks like I'm in the right height, but I want to make sure. I am indeed at the right height. That is good. There should be a fourth one. Oh, of course it fell down here. Well, since we're down here, I want to make sure you can still get to the into the cistern. I think you should be able to. Yes. Can you get back out, though? I don't think you can actually get back out. Because there's not enough room to stand here. Well, that's okay. We have other ways. How many in does this go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. One, two, three, 4, 5. Quick, back to our hovel. Yeah, so I have this one last block of quartz. Don't want to use it all up right now, but I do think I'm going to make more slabs. Because we're going to need a lot more slabs anyway. Nope. Be that way. Oops. No, that one can stay. Right? Or no, is... No, I guess it's just to here. Okay. Yeah, I guess there's a wall there. So, you thought you could get away? It's a little polished diorite slab. I did not think I was going to have enough honeycomb for that. Okay, there we go. The rough draft of both spiral staircases is done. Again, anything that's the gray diorite slab is going to get replaced with quartz. In fact, I may as well do that on this staircase at least. And of course, all of these landings will have the red carpet on them. My brain got confused there when it saw the quartz already. But it's just that one landing that had it. I think the landing up here is going to be diorite, though, because then it meshes with the whole walkway. Yeah, I like that as a more consistent style. Now I'm wondering how much I need to make it look like these stairs in terms of like having the slabs underneath, and I think that is what I need to do. Ah. There'll be a wall on two sides. Yeah. Yeah, there will. And that, you're right, that could affect my choice in the end. Now the question is, do we want a wall or do we want a window? I'm thinking I think a window would look cool, but the problem is, so because we're using glass panes and not glass blocks, I guess we could switch to glass blocks though, but I like the text, the like depth difference. But if we, oops, wrong. Sure. If we do that, you see how there's this piece of glass that juts out. So what we could do is be just smaller windows, so we could have, and remember, this window is ultimately going to be a little taller and have a second window above it as well. So what we could do is just kind of be strategic about placing the windows so that they line up with the landings. It's like, have a window there, have a window there, you know, have a window there, have a window there. That way, on the outer side, on the outer landing, so the inner landing wouldn't have one, but the outer landings would. Let's get some glass. Do I have white concrete? I do in fact have some white concrete. That's good. We'll worry about how we decorate this later. In terms of like, because I think it would look good if it matches the other window. Such that the sides are the vertical striped quartz, and there's a bone block and regular quartz kind of framing it all. So in essence, this first one would be... Okay, so how do we want to design this window? Probably, actually... I'm kind of thinking just like a floor-to-ceiling style window here. So as you're coming up, there'd be a window, no window, no window, window, open, open. Except that doesn't work because there's going to be a window here. So there'll be... Well, I guess there's a striped piece of... This will be striped quartz right here in this spot right here. So that's actually fine because then that's... I mean, it's going to form one side anyway. And that's what we want there anyway. Do I want it shared, though, is the problem. I think that'll be fine, because then we could do the... We could do the same here. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that works pretty well, because then that leaves... and we'll have smaller windows back here, but that leaves us with 2 sets of the large windows on either side. And paralleling the construction with the vertical quartz on that outside portion. So, and then this will be another window section here. So how tall are these windows, actually? 1, 2, 3. Okay, they're 3 tall. Perfect. So 1, 2, 3. One more. Now, that said, I think I'm actually going to extend this window over by 1. That way it's 3 wide, just like the others. Well, this is 5 wide, but it'll be odd numbered, because then we can do the same kind of bone window, bone pattern at the top of the pane to give it some shape, so that that would be open. It doesn't have to be the same here on this lower portion. That looks really bizarre. And then this one will have a window as well, but I'm out of white concrete. Bizarre, but you can see the form emerging. Yep. So yeah, these lower ones, I think just doing as like a 3x3, but then on this one, well, this one actually as well will just be a 3x3. So this one will probably also just stay a 3x3. So we probably won't do the glass bone thing on these windows, but that's okay. That can stay a decoration on the large windows. And this will have its own bank of windows as well. Because we want this place to feel bright, airy, open, but also to still have some solidity and weight in its construction. So I want to leave this as is for now because I want to keep this upper pattern intact visually so that I can reference it later. But as soon as we have it somewhere else. But this works well because the glass panes don't stick to half slabs. They only stick to full blocks. So yeah. It's coming together. This is looking at it the direct corner angle. From the red carpet approach. It's a deconstructed opera house. It's a partially constructed opera house. Good to see you, Sub-Zero. Hope you're doing well. So let's grab... See, I only have 2 quartz pillars left. So this whole side will actually be the quartz pillar, but I'm just gonna place it there for now as placeholder. Whereas on this side, it actually only needs to be the quartz pillar where there's a window. Oh yeah, I like how that's coming together a lot. Now we might, I haven't made up my mind yet, but we might have sections like that. Like on each of these. Because this would match the main staircase. Okay, we'll look at that in the first light of the morning. Okay, I'm liking how that is from the outside. So that's a good sign. And you have to imagine as well that these portions will have railings on them. In which case, I think I like it. I think if it was to stop here, I don't think it would quite work. But I think with railings, gonna have to make more. But a thought I had, so I do want to incorporate the bone somewhere into this. I was thinking, what if we did that across the top of each window? Okay, that works. That is framing the different kinds of white nicely, I think. I may even put it at the bottom. We'll see. Yeah, I like what that's doing. It has just a nice little accent on the inside. Sweet, I don't have to make more. I already have more. And this will be wall, so I don't have to worry about railings here because you like that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I like that. It comes together with those railings on it. We must imagine the opera house with railings. We must imagine the railings is happy. Wait. I was a little disappointed with another game I was looking at for Spirituality Tuesday chat. Found a game called Thought Experiment Simulator, which is it's based on like classic philosophical like moral dilemmas and paradoxes and things. From a design standpoint, first of all, it just lets you skip everything in terms of the actual discussions. Second of all, the goal is to not actually like grapple with the content. It's all like, I don't know, honestly it was just kind of toilet humor jokes about things. It's like, oh, okay. I like how this is being framed. I like the different balconies. This is not exactly what I had envisioned originally, but that's okay. Sometimes it's good to not hold on to your vision too tightly and be able to say, what could it become? It was unfortunate. Okay. 4. Okay, so I'll do 2 levels, or 4 levels, where it goes up by 1. And goes out by 5. No, there are some games that would be excellent, but aren't family friendly, grappling with dark topics and all. Yeah, and it's a fine line, because like some of that stuff should be talked about in a family space, honestly, but not all of it. And not all of it really can be fully and appropriately unpacked. And, you know, I don't want to do a disservice to some topics on stream. Yeah, I wasn't trying to fall down here. This next one only goes 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cannot place blocks. cannot get ye, Flask. And from here, it's just the 2. Perfect. I think that's actually the last of the floor construction for the first level. That is. Actually, I think it's the last floor construction period. It's all walls and stairs from here. Okay, well, there's a little bit of floor over there as well. Keep all the quartz in here, all the bone in here, all that in there. Then this one, I think, do I want... I want the red carpet to wind up going centered, for sure, but do we want it to go 4 wide or just 2 wide? I think 4 wide. I think that'll look better. And then that'll actually match the carpet down here that will go 4 wide. Now the question is, how do I connect said carpet to this carpet? I guess if I go... I don't want to go 4 wide because we have... I want one between there and the water. I guess let's just continue the 1. To here. I might even extend this just a little bit so it feels like there's a bit more room to navigate. This is a very complicated carpeting pattern. Fortunately, these 2 levels won't need any carpet. They're not posh enough. this axe, because I don't think we have any other dark oak lying around. I lied. We have lots. So I need a door there, door there, door there, door there, 2 doors there. So you need at least 6. That's... Make it zigzag and at the stairs so it doesn't get skinny wide skinny. Not sure what you mean. Because, like... Like, I think what I'll do is 5 and then 4 so that it's kind of a curve. Mirror the staircase in the corner. No, I'm sorry, kid. I really don't understand what you're trying to communicate. Also good to see you, Chizo. Such a beautiful day out. Oh, I'm jealous. It's cold and rainy here. Just want to make a picnic and spend some time in the sun. That sounds like a lovely afternoon. I want a picnic. I am a little hungry. Oh, I guess I also need doors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Need a few more doors up that way. Yeah, so 8 more. I have 1, but that's not going to help because I need to make my batches of 6, so 3 more sets. While I'm down here, I'll grab some diorite slabs. That there. We do have more calcite for that. Door and door. Guess this is actually going to have to turn into a diorite block at some point. Because if we want a wall that butts up right against it. I'll fix where the door handles are once we have actual walls here. Although I guess this doesn't have to be diorite right here. This could actually just be white concrete. Because it's going to be a big wall anyway. That one is also 5. Who'da thunk it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop. That slipped. Okay, that is the flooring completed, I think. So I think the next step is really working on the decoration, or not the decoration, the walls, and then we can start working on the decoration. Because we have our stairs, we have. I do need to build a staircase like that over there, but that's small, quick, and easy. But I need more quartz for it, so. That's another day's problem. So put that away for now, put that away for now. And take this calcite. The white dye for the concrete's not an issue because we have so many bone blocks and I can easily get more in the nether. So I probably want this carpet, honestly, to come as far as these chairs. Because coming in from the side, you won't necessarily have a carpet. Because, again, the half slabs can't have the carpet, so we could have... We have a carpet pick up again, I guess. That's not a bad idea. Sadly, you can't have carpet under doors. It just takes up the way Minecraft computes space. It's like, nope, can't do that. Okay, so that sorts that out, and then... I think that's how I just want to keep it, actually. I don't think I want to go... right here in front on the stage or anything else. I think the carpet's more just like a general, like it's the major thoroughfares. Not the whole opera house's carpeted thing of these like throw carpets. So I have a question of how tall I need to make the calcite. Which I guess I can't fully answer until I get sort of the decorative archway of the stage done, but I can place some of the calcite now at least. Just add to the shaping of everything. Can you use something else under the carpet since it's not seen? Depends on where it is. The answer is yes, but there are certain... So, like, the blocks immediately under these ones, there's no other way to view what's under it, so that could change. But, like, this one I can see... Well, I can say we can see what's directly below it. So it's not necessarily fully worth it to try and change it on everything, because, like, where it's on the quartz, well, we can see the underside here. Okay, I need gravel. We have 3 pieces of gravel. Which sand do we have? We have a stack and a half of sand. Let's go get some more sand. We're going on an adventure. Actually, this is a nice time to check out the aerial view. I think that's cool. I think this will look good, because, like, you know, you can imagine standing here and maybe there's a string quartet playing or something in the area. I wanted to say courtyard, and that's not accurate. Atrium, foyer. It really is kind of an atrium in the way we've designed it, though. Flying by Step Zero's monastery. Ah, the sand pits. I feel like these sand pits need a dramatic, like, sci-fi-ish or fantasy-ish name, like Calthor Dune or something. Dude, I'm having a party Saturday. You should totally come. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to mow my desert. Okay, this should be enough sand for now. Now I need to find gravel. Yeah, it's a good amount of sand. Yep. Blah, blah. The opera house is actually beginning to look like something. Okay, and we should have a shovel set aside. Maybe it's at the main base. Because if I try to use this shovel, it's got Fortune 3 on it. So it would just turn all the gravel into a bunch of flint. Which, when you actually need the gravel... There it is. Perfectly normal shovel. That's all andesite, which looks kind of like gravel. I think these hallways were me digging for coal. So there's a time I had a coal shortage. Excuse me, my good sir, what are you doing here? Wait. That's gravel. Fantastic. How do I get out of here? Hey, Artemithril. How you doing today? Very generous and anonymous person who gifted a sub. I do not know either, but thank you to that person. Hope you enjoyed the emotes. Looks like you are already. Anonymous is so friendly on Twitch. Not sure about everywhere else, but def on Twitch. Okay, that's only 3 stacks. That's pretty good, but still want a bit more to hopefully match the like 8 stacks or so of sand we got. Well, I'll get the coal while we're here. Why not? After all, why shouldn't I? Okay, that's a decent amount. It's not quite the same, but it's a pretty good amount. Drop off the shovel, drop off the flint. Probably drop off the cobblestone too, don't really need that. Oh, I missed my exit. This is why it's good to be consistent with your torch placement. I always place mine on the left when you're headed into the mine, and on the right when you're headed out. This is an exception, but it's just a large open room. But so that if I do that, where I just keep moving, I can realize and go, oh wait. What? It's basically nighttime. Just make sure there's no random gravel in here. Hello, orange. You know, I reached at the 7:30. I was realizing, I was thinking about, oh, at some point someone's gonna rota. I had the 7:30 mass, and it feels like I did that yesterday. So I was like, wait, do I have something prepared? I do. So in today's gospel, Jesus says, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law. I do not come to abolish, but instead to fulfill." And it's important to remember that He will fulfill. That you know, obviously we are called to a certain way of life and virtuous living, but the law, Christ fulfills. He fulfills the prophets as well. He fulfills these things and brings fullness to God's plan. Oh, I had a bunch of white tie. Oh well. Bone blocks are easy to find in the nether. I remember in my day, we had to. Well, bone blocks weren't even a thing yet. I actually did have a build before bone blocks were a thing in the nether, before the huge nether update, and I remember trying to find enough bones. In order to make said bone blocks, and it took a while because I decided I wanted a clock tower in the middle of my town, and that the base of the clock should be bone. What was my... Why is this not working today? There's usually like a position at this pond that I can take. And just hold down both mouse buttons. I cannot seem to find it. Meat mass. Hey, it's even the appropriate purple. Jesus Christ, God 7. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. You join us at a not terribly exciting portion, as I just have to sit here and make concrete. It's one of your favorite liturgical colors. It's a good one. It's my favorite. I enjoy a good royal purple. You don't see yours very often? What's your favorite? I'm guessing black? No, not black. Rose? Forgot about rose. Okay, so it's not rose. I feel like I can't. I guess red. You don't see red that often on Sundays. Hey, I got there. I got there in 3. Yeah, you really don't see red a whole lot on Sundays. I mean, you'll see it for certain movable feasts, or not movable feasts, but certain feasts that might fall on a Sunday, like Exaltation of the Cross, but otherwise it's really just Palm Sunday. Is the main one I can think of. So I did training during the summer in Cali. Yeah, so that was probably like, it could have been a patronal feast of the parish, which you can move to the Sunday to celebrate. It could have been a martyr. I don't know what parish it was, but you know. Interestingly enough, it's the color of mourning for a pope. Mission San Antonio. Okay, San Antonio's not a martyr. So what would... Oh, Pentecost. Pentecost is another one. So I'm guessing it's probably Pentecost, because that can be early summer. Yeah, the other main day we wear it is Good Friday, and of course that's not a Sunday. categorically. Did we say Anthony? No, Anthony was not a martyr. Rose this Sunday? Yes? I think this is Laetare Sunday? I'm pretty... Yeah, 4th Sunday should be Laetare, right? I always forget if Laetare is the 4th or the 5th, but I guess it's the 4th because it's kind of the halfway point, and then there's 5th, and then there's Palm Sunday. 2.5 weeks to Palm Sunday, that's wild. Has Good Friday ever fallen on a Sunday? That would be impressive if it did, Brayherd. You get to go to church twice this weekend. Hey, that sounds like fun. Oh, it could have been, yeah, celebrating Junipero Serra and his canonization, depending on when you were there. Usually sometime in July. That could be. I don't know his date off the top of my head. Love the courtyard, thank you. The sun was setting, let me go to sleep. Let this old man sleep. Oh, you're talking about the mission. I mean, to be fair, there's lots of courtyards here as well. I like courtyards. I could see the mission having a nice courtyard, though. Okay, I want to build up this wall. Big ol' olive tree. Nice. Olive trees are cool. They can live a really long time. Like, my brother once got me dice that were made from olive tree wood. That the tree was 2,000 years old. Yeah, I hope it hasn't burned down either. Depends on where it is in Cali. Yeah, there's a lot of fires in Cali, and it's unfortunate. The Paulus Parish in LA was very close to some of the fires this last summer. And our pastor there did a great job helping organize community efforts to reach out to people and help take care of them. Are we still working on the theater? Yeah, it's a big project. Although I think we actually have the main floor done. So right now we can actually start transitioning to focusing on walls as well. I do still have to work some in the theater proper. Okay, other than the gap, I don't hate that. I mean, it is a bit barren, but again, there's got to be posters and artwork decorating the walls. I think the floor is just really shiny in this shader. That we made about 8 stacks, maybe 10. We burned through all of that. Just to build a single wall. And why did we build the wall, my children? My children. Okay, it's nice having an actual backdrop to the grand staircase. To block the view of our neighbors. I mean, that's not too far off from the proper response. It's a song from Hadestown. The proper response to the neighbors. You've had some very nice neighbors over the years. I'm sure of it. Yeah, because this is going to be wall going all the way up. I don't mind this one strip being something different. Hey, little cheesy. Your neighbors are very stinky. Oh, dear. No. I want you to go the other way. Go. Okay. And again, we'll decorate the actual walls. You know, it doesn't have to remain the Spartan white the entire time. Is the one white stairway temporary or permanent? It's temporarily permanent. There will be a stairway there. I just haven't designed quite what it's going to look like yet, but there's got to be something sort of in that space. What's the build? An opera house. We have the stage down there, and we're working on the wall, separate it from the like the entryway lobby. And don't forget, there's an entire cistern underneath this. Ooh, opera. I've never been to one. I recommend it. I think operas are a lot of fun. I think anything by Giacomo Puccini is a really safe bet. But I especially love Turandot. And I think Turandot has beautiful arias, but it also has some really it has some nice comic relief in it, so it's kind of mixed up in its presentation. You know, it's not just one thing. It's dramatic in all the best ways. They've kind of scared me since watching Shawshank Redemption. I've never seen Shawshank Redemption, so I'm not sure I understand what that means. Oh, no spoilers then. Okay. Isn't the Shawshank Redemption, like the prison they filmed it in, isn't that in Ohio? I feel like I seem to remember seeing signs saying, come see the Shawshank Redemption jail when I lived there. But it wasn't like near Columbus where I lived. It was kind of far out, and so I never was in the area and never really made the trek, especially because like I hadn't seen the movie, so I was like, yeah. See if I can parkour my way to where I'm going. I think I can. Parkour! Well, it almost worked. Brother keeps reminding me that Marilyn Manson is from Ohio. Yeah. No, not my cup of tea. Why are you being placed on that side? I'm clicking there. There we go. Thank you. Okay, that is all that concrete. And we couldn't even quite finish the wall, but we got a good portion of it done. So, okay. So definitely gonna need something big and decorative in the middle, and I think that's where, like, it's not embossing, but, like, you'll see it in paint, sort of painted onto walls to kind of look like it's chiseled in the corners and, like, a rectangle. When I build one, you'll be like, oh, that thing, that's what Father Evan's been talking about. I hope. Did you ever have that party at the market? Well, we completed the market, that's for sure, but I don't know about a party. Yeah, so we're going to need some sort of big decoration here, but that's... I think that's fair. Might put a big piece of art or something as well. Because I feel like that's where you'd have, like, a big banner advertising what opera is currently playing. Hey, Squirrelich, good to see you. We'll have, like, smaller posters down along this side displaying, like, previous productions. Anything where there's windows, we don't need to decorate it. But that's coming together. That's good progress. Maybe it was that word that threw me off. Decoration is kind of linked to party celebration in your brain. I could see that. I mean, you decorate for a party. So we'll take this, because this is kind of the prototype of a poster. So yeah, we might stack these two talls, which would mean we probably put like one here and one here and have a space in between them, but still. Or maybe even do like 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now the biggest painting, I think, is only 5 by 5. 4x4. It might just be a 4x4. I'll definitely be using paintings like this elsewhere in the building, but I think this one we're going to be decorating by use of what kind of bricks are there. I'll place that there because it's weird and it helps fill the white space for now. Honestly, that's not bad. It's off-center, but, you know, we could fix that. Random question. How do I feel like my general mission is going as pertains to streaming? I think well. Feel like cultivated good space here and enjoy it. And it's, you know, I feel like it's a space where people can ask good questions and have. And is coupled with the Discord where folks have, you know, continued to be asking good questions of faith and supporting each other. And really actually ultimately even answering questions of faith with each other. You know, that's not just all on me, but it is a matter of community. So I think it's going well. Looked at your Insta yesterday. Guess what one of the feeds was? Was it Busted Halo? Were you hoping you'd reach more non-believers? I think that's always the hope. You know, there is mission and growth to be done sort of at home as well. And that's great, you know? Because I think very much kind of in the identity of my community's founder, Isaac Hecker, we're about seekers. We're about seeking and, you know, helping create spaces where other people can seek and people from all walks of life can seek. I just realized the two tags I have. You don't think they go together? What tags are those? Family friendly and pain and suffering. That's fair. I mean, I do aim to keep things fairly PG around here. The pain and suffering tag was a joke. I think Mel suggested it based on like the candy and playing bad games. What's that bone block doing there? We have bone blocks go over here. Maybe they go too well together. Yeah. Let's go get some more beeswax just in these last few minutes. Okay, I wasn't sure if those disappeared into the tree or not. Squat little mushroom. Probably one of like 10 people who've ever used Twitch to do the modify emote thing. Yeah. I think the most common one I see is add sunglasses. I don't think that's a feature that took off quite the way they wanted it to. See, there's the sunglasses. Now it's a cool mushroom. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've never even like looked at what the options are on that. There are not many. I didn't think so. I thought giant emotes were cute, but being limited to just bits makes them hard to... Grayscale, flip, sunglasses, squish, and think. Wow. That is not a lot. No, I used the wrong pickaxe. I have to build a new campfire. What do I need? I need sticks and logs. Should have... Oh, I have another campfire. Never mind, everything's fine. Wherever will you find sticks? Thank you for understanding my plight. All right. I feel like we made really good progress today. I'm going to try and make more white concrete between episodes, but no guarantee. You know, life being what it is and having a job that isn't just this. And hopefully getting some more quartz as well. But yeah, I like that we have this whole wall done. I like that we have this staircase designed and finished, which enables us to more quickly do this one. You said light gray? Oh no, oh no, panic! It looks light gray in certain lights. So yeah, I think it's coming together pretty nicely. It looks like an actual building now. Actually, here's a question. Do you think being a priest gives people assumptions about you and what you're wanting to do? And so that's why more so Catholic Christian people tend to show up as opposed to maybe your target audience? Yeah, I think that's always kind of a reality. You know, if someone's in a secular mindset and they're like, I don't want to engage with that, and that's, you know, their choice, they're allowed to. They could see me in column and go, nope. You know, I remember I got raided once by someone who's playing Minecraft. And it was just some random person. I think they just saw me, and then I think their community realized it was like 20 people, and not a single one of them stuck around. So, you know, it's kind of funny. But, you know, you do also get people who are, you know, sometimes you get people who are cultural Catholic and not really practicing, and they're like, oh, okay, it's a priest, cool, and just kind of like hang out. You know, you do get people too who, you know, this is kind of this is not unique to this ministry by any means. This happens to a lot of online ministries where it's like, okay, our goal is to reach like Busted Halo, for example, is a great one. Busted Halo was originally founded to reach out to young adults. Well, we found about 10 years in, based on our user data, that we were actually kind of reaching a broader range, and we took the opportunity to say, well, we could either try and double down on the young adults and try and shoo people away, or we can lean to what's drawing them in and say, okay, great, and, you know, make it more all ages, which is what we wound up doing. Even though, actually, after redesigning the website in 2017, 2016, something like that, it actually did lower the average user age, which was pretty cool. But, you know, it's... And for me, it's not necessarily about, you know, finding non-believers and converting. In that sense, like I would be blessed to be a part of someone's journey and coming to know Christ. For sure, don't get me wrong. But, you know, this is also just a space to explore and seek, as I was talking about earlier. So, you love the friendliness and patience? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much, Chizo. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's kind of that both and where it's like, you know, I'd love, because really a thing I wanted, if you look at the official document that led to this, was kind of the idea that like narratives matter and how we engage in media matters. And so like looking at that and looking at gaming and say, what's actually the good here? What's worthwhile? What's worth elevating? What's worth, you know, saying this is a good example, this is a good story, of which I think there are many. I think a lot of gaming is actually a really good space for that sort of thing. So yeah. So it's not necessarily just for people. It's a way, inviting folks, be they Catholic, be they Christian, be they non-believing, be they other religion, just to have a new lens on how they approach media and the way that it can invite them into deeper reflection. So that's a key part of it too. So it's, you know, it's all sorts of things. There are definitely folks who I have met through this who are surprised to see a priest streaming, who are not, you know, terribly practicing Catholics or even any form of Christian, and they think that's really kind of interesting on and of itself. So, you know, I think it's a good space, and I think it's doing good stuff. I see good fruit in it. And I am blessed that the community is a major part of that. You've gotten a very large dream/picture in your mind within the last year or so. Oh? What might that be? But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like, having y'all be a part of the community and asking questions, help, supporting each other, just being here with each other, making friendships. Like, I've seen people become friends through Twitch chat, and not just mine. Like, it's really cool that I get to be a part of a network of content creators having to do with faith. Ooh. Well, if you want to share it, you're more than welcome to, but you don't have to. Don't want to force you, but just thinking about the ways the church and various parts interact with society in general. And education and entertainment. Yeah, a lot going on there, and a lot of good stuff happening. A lot of, just because all human endeavors, there will be stuff across the spectrum. I think of the Daughters of St. Paul. No relation to the Paulist Fathers, hilariously enough. There's this one sister in particular. She has this whole thing she calls Cinema Divina, and it's about prayerful discussion about a movie and the themes after watching it, like intentional small group faith sharing around a movie that may or may not be intentionally, Christian. I wish I could remember her name. I can see her face. She's really cool. So, I think there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening out there in the world, and I'm excited to be one small part of it, and I'm excited to be with y'all as part of it as well. Again, I may be the content creator in this equation, but you can't really be a content creator if there's no audience, and more than an audience, you're a community, and that's awesome. So, got a little over time, but that's okay. I think we were having a good conversation. But we are going to call it there for the day, so thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm surprised last year in the Catholic community here on Twitch just kind of burst onto me. It does that. You find one of us, and it's just like, all of a sudden, whoosh, 20. Speaking of the Catholic community on Twitch, I'll be co-streaming with P. Tony tonight. 8 o'clock, we're going to be playing Battle Block Theater. It's because I am competing on Game of Favorites on Friday night. It's a poetry episode, so come root for me there. It should be a lot of fun. I really like the responses I've written. And I got a really nice... I missed what happened to his face. Oh, it was Yedz's birthday, and she wanted him to shave. That was it. So, but yeah, so join us again tomorrow for Siberia 2. Actually got it working. And then, like I said, Friday, I'll be on P. Tony's channel for Game of Favorites. Monday, more Super Mario RPG. Big woof. Yeah, I don't have a beard or a wife, so I can't say. And then Tuesday, another Synaxarion game. And then more midweek Minecraft. So yes, thank you again to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, checked out the YouTube, checked out the Discord, all that good jazz. It's good, Ben, to be with you, and I hope to see you later tonight. But if not, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. Well, this is perfect. Aki and Fam are playing Minecraft. So I think we're just gonna do standard father raid. But go enjoy Minecraft to Minecraft streams. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless.